You worked for 15 years, never missed a single day, followed every rule, and walked away as Employee of the Year. But on a Tuesday morning, your boss called you into the office and told you that you couldn't stay, and that it wasn't your fault. He'd simply found something better, faster, and that never complains. A machine. You have nowhere else to work, a daughter to support, and a diabetic father at home. And you keep thinking about the $100,000 you spent on college, feeling like none of it mattered. As crazy as it sounds, this is already happening, and most people don't even realize it. And that raises a lot of questions, like how are we supposed to make money if nobody's working? What happens to the school system and retirement? How do we find meaning in our lives? And the truth is, we can't just hit a button and shut AI off. But these questions and more, we're going to answer all of them in this video. Since 2010, machines have already been deployed in factories and across all kinds of jobs, doing 50% of the work with just a little human supervision. And you might ask, can't we just use AI as a tool? My friend, that's already changing. AI is not going to be just a tool like a wrench you use to tighten the wheels on a car. It's going to be the worker and the wrench at the same time. AI is going to be smarter than any person on the planet. And that's exactly what James Barrett argued in his 2013 book, Our Final Invention, where he says humans are going to create something that thinks on its own, meaning we invented the inventor, thousands of times more intelligent than we are. In 2026, Tesla began production of its humanoid robot Optimus, still in early stages, but with an ambitious goal of 1 million robots per year. And that's just the first factory. Robots that don't sleep, don't eat, and don't ask for a paycheck. They just need to be charged, and they do the job twice as well as any human. Even the brightest scientists at Harvard are going to look like ants compared to ChatGPT, because it's already read every book ever written, and it's going to develop inventions, build theories, and solve problems entirely on its own. But don't panic, because we're not there yet. And according to a 2023 McKinsey report, the historic wave of mass layoffs isn't expected to hit until somewhere between 2030 and 2040, starting with repetitive and automatable jobs like customer service and basic level programming. And it's only a matter of time, because truck drivers are being replaced by autonomous vehicles, factory workers are being replaced by robots, and there's even AI that'll walk your dog for you. A teacher might say nobody teaches better than they do. But today, there are already schools where robots are teaching kids with a level of personalization that no teacher with 30 students could ever offer. AI already analyzes a case better than an inexperienced officer, performs surgeries with a precision that no human doctor can consistently replicate. And American hospitals are already adopting these systems, and the number of jobs that are going to be affected runs into the thousands. So if jobs are going to disappear on a massive scale, how are people supposed to pay their bills? Are we going to starve? The answer is no. Governments and entrepreneurs are investing in a project called Universal Basic Income. Now, that's hard to hear, being completely dependent on the government. But the truth is, you've always depended on the government. They're the ones who regulate wages and basically hold the entire fabric of society together. And it's going to work something like this. You're asleep, and you get a notification that money just dropped into your account. You're sitting at home, sleeping 10 hours a day, playing golf in your backyard. The world will be in a state of abundance because robots are going to triple global production output, and after all, they don't sleep. According to a PwC report, AI could contribute up to $15.7 trillion to the global economy by 2030. But if most jobs disappear, do any survive? It's estimated that the vast majority of jobs as we know them today will either disappear or change completely. And the ones that remain will probably be filled by people who already master their field at the highest level. And honestly, you never want to go to a show with a robot performer. You want Taylor Swift. People are not going to want a robot lawyer in a courtroom. It just wouldn't make sense. The most valued professions will be the ones where humans are essential. AI is going to create movies like Frozen in minutes, but it's never going to make you cry the way the real film did, because it hasn't lived what you've lived. It has no soul, and it doesn't feel pain. Over time, there are going to be jobs where AI is simply banned, where only humans can work, because AI will never be able to have a human mind.
But here's what really worries me. While we talk about which jobs survive, what exactly are we teaching kids in school for this world? Think about it. The school system as we know it today was created during the Industrial Revolution in the 18th century. The goal was simple: train workers for factories, memorize, repeat, follow schedules, take tests. Sound familiar? The problem is we're using a system that's over 200 years old to prepare children for a world that even we can't imagine. Today, there are already schools in South Korea and China where over 600 kindergartens use Kiko, a small round robot that tells stories and gives kids logic exercises, analyzing in real time whether a student is struggling, adapting the pace, and explaining things 10 different ways until the child understands. A teacher with 30 kids in a room will never be able to do that. AI can already identify each child's individual learning style, whether they learn better by watching, listening, or doing, and build a personalized study plan, something the current system simply doesn't do. So, what is school actually going to be for? Not for memorizing dates, formulas, or country capitals. Your phone knows all of that in 2 seconds. The school of the future is going to have to teach what AI can't replicate: critical thinking, creativity, emotional intelligence, leadership, and the ability to ask the right questions. The big problem is that governments are moving way too slow. Kids who are 10 years old today are going to enter the job market around 2035 to 2040, exactly when mass layoffs are expected to peak. And what is school teaching those kids right now? The same subjects as always.
Countries like Finland are already reshaping their curriculum, moving away from memorization and putting real problem solving at the center. But they're the exception, not the rule. And what about universities? The $100,000 in college debt I mentioned at the start of this video, that model is collapsing. A 2023 World Economic Forum report indicates that in less than 15 years, half of all traditional university courses are going to disappear because they're no longer relevant to the market. Who's going to pay 4 years of tuition to study accounting when AI does in seconds what an accountant does in weeks? The universities that survive will be the ones that teach students how to work with AI, how to control it, and how to think where it can't reach. And if school isn't preparing your kids, imagine what's happening to people who spent their entire lives working and are counting on retirement to finally rest. Think about it. The current retirement system was built on a simple logic. You work 30 or 40 years, you put aside part of your salary, and when you get older, you get it back. But this system has a massive problem. It depends on active workers paying in to support today's retirees. If the vast majority of jobs disappear, who's going to fund tomorrow's retirement? There won't be enough workers contributing. The system collapses mathematically. Countries like Finland and the United States are already discussing a solution: taxing robots and AI companies. The logic is simple. If a robot replaced 10 workers, the company pays a tax equivalent to what those 10 workers would have paid the government. That money feeds both universal basic income and retirement funds. Bill Gates publicly defended this idea in an interview with Quartz magazine back in 2017. But there's another, quieter problem. Many people who are 40 or 50 today and were counting on traditional retirement could end up caught in the middle. So we lose our jobs, retirement is at risk, and now we're left with 80 hours free every week. Sounds good, right? Many people are going to choose to travel the world and enjoy new experiences, but it's not going to be the way everyone imagines. Other people are going to get bored watching Netflix, drinking soda, and eating 5 burgers a day, and they're going to end up overweight and without purpose. For a lot of people, work is what gives life meaning, and losing that is like having your blanket pulled off on a cold winter night in the middle of a beautiful dream. A lot of people are going to be miserable. Others are going to be happy and grateful for AI. That's just how the world works. And before anyone asks, no, we can't just shut all of this down and go back to normal. The entire world depends on it today. Hospitals, factories, financial systems. Without AI, there would be total chaos, and we would lose millions of lives. The global economy depends on AI to function. So how do we protect ourselves if AI is going to control everything? The answer is in your finances. Invest your money. Studies from Stanford University show that people who invest consistently over 20 years can multiply their wealth up to 10 times, even on modest incomes. So invest in things of value that grow over time. Real assets, knowledge, and areas where AI hasn't reached yet. Nobody knows exactly what's going to happen in this world controlled by robots and artificial intelligence. But one thing is certain, it's already happening. Those of you watching this video are going to witness the disappearance of 99% of professions, one by one. And that's not an exaggeration, because there are countless studies on this. We are going to see a world completely different from the one we live in today. My question for you is, what do you think the world will look like in 2100, knowing that AI is evolving at this speed? Leave your opinion in the comments. I'll reply to as many as I can. and please subscribe.